I saved the whole sect by playing badly. Chapter 18. At the same time, Yi Qiao had already had a face-to-face with the group of monsters. In her mind, she kept recalling the aura of the fourth senior brother when he swung the sword like a rainbow. Locust. After being caught, Yi Qiao's expression remained unchanged. Her wrist drove the hilt of the sword and cut it off immediately, and she rolled down. It roared and raised its hooves to crush her into a pulp. Yi Qiao kicked hard to get up from the ground, but was still swept by her tail and flew to the ground. She was about to pounce again, and the black sword in her hand slashed towards the direction it pounced. The soft sword wind fell on the monster's body like a sharp blade in an instant, sinking into the opponent's hard flesh. The monster opened its mouth and let out a wail, struggling more and more violently. Yi Qiao stabbed the tip of the sword hard into its soft abdomen, fearing that it would not die, so she punched it hard twice. Fighting tirelessly over and over again, and constantly adjusting wrong postures, she herself didn't realize that the speed of the sword in her hand gradually became faster and lighter. Like the wind, like a knife, it plunged into the group of monsters in an instant, and the huge yellow beast that stabbed into its abdomen fell to the ground bleeding profusely. Yi Qiao bent over tiredly and gasped for breath, her whole body dripping with joy, although she couldn't reach the power of Mu Chongshi's sword to kill dozens of monsters. But the sword style has already been fully learned by her. Zhu Yu was secretly surprised when he saw this scene, and he rarely boasted, "I have adapted well, counting the time in the outer sect. The junior sister has joined the sect for less than half a year, and in a few months, I can master Qingfeng Ju for the first time." The 7 or 8 parts of the figure used in the first form. It seems that the talent of the little junior sister in the way of swordsmanship is not inferior to yours, little junior brother. What Zhu Yu couldn't figure out was that if he could really understand the first form of the Qingfeng Ju, why did the little junior sister linger in the middle of the outer sect? Mu Chongshi fell into deep thought of doubting life. After a long time, he said with difficulty, "But the problem is, third senior brother. Little junior sister hasn't had time to learn the first form of Qingfeng Ju." In the 2-month course, Elder Duan only taught Yi Qiao to step on the breeze to lay the foundation, and he didn't have time to teach the first sword art of Qingfeng Ju. The basic sword style of Qingfeng Ju was learned by Yi Qiao after watching it once, but she was afraid of being noticed, so she always swiped water during the test, so she didn't have a chance to practice it completely. Duan Yu hasn't had time to teach the other sword styles yet. Yi Qiao knows that this is a good opportunity to practice, no matter before time travel or now. The principle she has always followed is, learn if you can, and let it go if you can't. Fortunately, I have learned some things so far, and there is basically no difficulty. Song Hansheng's eyes darkened slightly. Ever since he knew that this group of people were descendants of Chang Mingzong, he had to pay attention to these people. Dabi and the others will be Yue Qingzong's opponents in the future. Especially the girl who was fighting with the monster. He was very accurate in seeing people, and the other party's talent was definitely not bad. As the saying goes, knowing yourself, knowing your enemy, and winning 100 battles, Song Hansheng has a thick skin. As if the friction that happened before didn't exist, he walked up to Mingxuan, beating around the bush to inquire about the news. "Where did you find this disciple of Chang Mingzong? Is he a swordsman?" Mingxuan was shocked by his thick skin. To be honest, Chang Mingzong and Yu Qingzong were not familiar with each other, especially when he sneaked up on his junior sister just now. Pulled. Zhu Yu smiled slightly. "It's not as talented as your little junior sister," he said in a gentle voice. "Yi Qiao is the little junior sister we picked up from the outer door. It's not comparable to the top-grade spiritual root, but at most, it has a better memory." Zhu Yu bowed his head and pondered seriously for a moment. "It's about the level of a photographic memory." Song Hansheng didn't know about Yi Qiao. He just got a stomach ache from Zhu Yu's words about Versailles. Also have a photographic memory, right? Right. Su Juo was dumbfounded. Yi Chao. Is it a coincidence name? He vaguely sensed something was wrong. Speaking of which, the girl's voice is really similar to that of the second senior sister. After the second senior sister went down the mountain, there was no news of her completely, and with the second senior sister's talent, at most she was an inner sect in a small sect, so Su Juo never thought about Yi Qiao from the beginning to the end. But now, it seemed that he could not believe it anymore. How can there be so many coincidences? The same voice, the same name, and they are all sword cultivators. Yun Qiu's pupils trembled slightly, and he was caught off guard by the news. She has seen Yi Qiao's face before. She is indeed the second senior sister. Yun Qiu's voice was a little weak. She pursed her lips, as if unwilling to give up. She asked tentatively, "Then senior sister Yi Qiao is also a direct disciple of Changming Sect? Otherwise, do you think anyone can call us junior sister?" Mingxuan said in surprise, and then looked at Yun Qiu's flashing eyes that seemed unwilling, and he laughed. No way, you don't really think it's a great identity to be passed on personally, do you? Yun Qiu really thinks so, or in other words, she can't accept a person who is inferior to her in every way, and once she becomes like herself, she becomes a direct disciple. She dodged her eyes a little. Why is senior brother Mingxuan being so aggressive? I'm just asking. Mingxuan spread his hands with a half smile. If you think so, then I can't help it. These words caused an uproar. The outer gate of the enchantment had already squatted down and started to watch the show, and the casual cultivators who were eating melon seeds were stunned when they heard these words. The personal heir of the Changming Sect. Are these great sects crazy? One by one, they're going to the small secret realm. I know the 4 personal biography of Mu Chongxi, but where did this little junior sister come from? It's a new one. It's so quiet and low-key. It's only now that I know that Chang Mingzong has also accepted disciples. But isn't Chang Mingzong always famous for being a kind old man? How could he do such a thing as occupying the medicine field? Some monks from the Changming sect raised their hands weakly. Should I say it or not? Although it is a bit immoral, but it looks very cool. Besides, Chang Mingzong's new little junior sister this year is pretty amazing. Yi Qiao's swordsmanship may still be a little green, but the flowing sword energy is pure and strong, not inferior to Mu Chongxi's sword just now. What's so great about this? A casual cultivator also said disdainfully, if it's junior sister Yunk, it will definitely work. It wasn't just casual cultivators outside who had this idea. Song Hansheng also thought the same way. These monsters are not high in cultivation, so they are very suitable for training. He was so irritated by Zhu Yu's Versailles meal, who doesn't have a talented junior sister. Song Hansheng held Yun Qiu back. His voice was cold. Junior sister, hurry up and go together. This is a good opportunity to practice. He added, there will be no danger. Those monsters are very low level. Senior brother Song, I won't go. I'm afraid. Yun Qiu grabbed Song Hansheng's sleeves tightly. She shook her head, her eyes turned red again. They're too disgusting. Song Hansheng was dying of anxiety. Didn't he see that Chang Mingzong was already killing him like crazy? If you don't go out to show it at this time, the limelight will be completely robbed by Chang Mingzong. Seeing this, Su Juo hurriedly spoke well for her. Senior brother Song, junior sister is still young. This 16-year-old is still young. Song Hansheng couldn't bear it anymore. Is she a giant baby? During the dispute between the two, the monk outside who was speaking for Yue Qingzong silently shut up. Chevron _ left previous